What's going on, guys? Thanks for joining us. If you're here, you're into legalizing cannabis. And so this is Cannabis Legalization News. I'm an attorney you can find over at cannabisindustrylawyer.com. My name's Tom, and we're here to discuss, is Schedule 3 a done deal? It's been taken off the schedule until after the election. Both Kamala Harris and Donald Trump have come out in favor of legalizing it, with Donald Trump at least calling for Prop 3 or Amendment 3 in Florida to pass, and Kamala Harris wanting to continue the rescheduling process that Biden started. And on December 2nd, mark your calendars and join us. Subscribe and like this video so that you'll get notice on that December 2nd. There it is. And so I did a blog post about intoxicating hemp-derived cannabinoids and how they're still illegal, but so would Schedule 3 marijuana. And so we could talk about IHDs or just regular natural Schedule 3 weed. It lacks the FDA approval. One of the things that we hope might happen with Schedule 3 for natural marijuana is what they call GRAS, generally recognized as safe. Now that natural marijuana has a recognized medical use, but no data that's out there, maybe they could say this natural marijuana product has been in the food supply for thousands of years, and they would generally regard it as safe. That may fix a certain loophole that would apply only to the marijuana industry, but not to the intoxicating hemp industry, because those are just descheduled. And so you could have hemp-derived THC that's not safe, but then marijuana THC that is safe. That would be really, really interesting. The other stuff that's out there is adulteration and misbranding. I have the adulteration and misbranding statutes. Those are under 21 USC 31-342 or 352. And they have certain compliance aspects that you have to have. To the extent that it is being used as a drug as well, you have 21 USC 331, which says that it's illegal to introduce or deliver for introduction any new drug into interstate commerce unless it has undergone FDA approvals process for safety and efficacy. I'm not sure if granting it GRAS status would be sufficient to wave a magic wand under natural marijuana, but that wouldn't apply to like intoxicating hemp derivatives. And we'll probably be live during the hearing. I wonder if they will discuss granting GRAS status to natural grass, being weed. For more on that, let's stick around and talk about, is Schedule 3 a done deal? What does that mean? What's going on with that? Let me share my screen because I have an article about how both parties saying the same thing when it comes to cannabis legalization. Here we are from Reason Magazine. Both presidential candidates as of September 4th. So with 2 months to go before the election, they take it off the table. And not only do they take it off the table, they also take off the ability for scheduling to happen prior to the election, with the DEA setting a December 2nd hearing date for public comments to be aired about rescheduling it. It appears that it doesn't matter what party wins, but one of the reasons that I like Reason Magazine is that it links out to interesting stuff. And so Donald Trump is catching some flack for what he has said previously in the past, but he said different things depending on what past he's had, because Donald Trump's been around for a while. This article has spawned fact checking on both sides. First, we're going to dive into Donald Trump's. Here he is when he ran the first time back in 2015. When he called for ending the war on drugs, he meant it should be fought more aggressively, is what the presidential contender back in 2015 said, that he never thought drugs should be legal. And Reason Magazine then links out to this Miami Herald article from 90. So that's how old this one is. Donald Trump's been around so long that you can find him evolving on issues, let's say. To beat drugs, make them legal, kill off profits, Trump declares. And he had this was in the Miami Herald. And so some of the quotes that he had in it were pretty interesting. Trump blamed the country's drug problems on politicians who don't have any guts, and enforcement is a joke. We're losing badly the war on drugs. You have to legalize drugs to win that war. You have to take the profit away from these drug czars. Donald Trump, 1990. Where was the other candidate, and how has she evolved? As now Kamala Harris appears to be taking the Biden approach and continuing the liberalization of Schedule 3 for marijuana, hopefully releasing all the prisoners and decriminalizing. But let's watch her evolution on this issue. This is out of the Associated Press, though as fair and balanced as you can get without actually being Fox News. It's not really fair and balanced. It's one of the things. The Associated Press, though, it's been around for a while. What do marijuana, the death penalty, and fracking have in common? Harris shifted positions on all of them. I did inhale. Harris also changed positions to other hot button issues, marijuana and gun control. Most Americans live in a state where marijuana is legal in some form or another. You probably do. I do. However, she used to be the enforcer of cannabis laws and opposed legalization in California. She defended marijuana use for medicinal purposes as district attorney. She did, however, prosecute more than 1,900 people on cannabis-related offenses. When she was running in 2010 to become California's attorney general, she opposed allowing marijuana sales for recreational use. At the same time, she said it would cause confusion in the state's loosely regulated medical marketplace. And when she was running for re-election as California's attorney general, she said she did not support legalizing recreational use. By the time she was running for president in 2019, however, she had reversed course and was even joking about smoking and trying the drug. I did inhale, she says, during an interview that she gave with a twist and a nod to President Clinton's 1992 comment. And earlier this year, we have a quote from her saying, "It's absurd that the federal government classifies marijuana as more dangerous than fentanyl. That's patently unfair," she said. So there we go. She has also evolved her position. Which one do you trust more? Or does it even matter? Is Schedule 3 a done deal? If Schedule 3 is a done deal, well, what does that mean going forward in the future? Well, let's imagine and say that cannabis does get rescheduled to Schedule 3. Does this solve all problems magically? No, we're not even close to being done. It's important to understand that when you move marijuana to Schedule 3, that only affects federal law. States are free to do their own thing. Some states have trigger laws and automatic changes in place. I've done a video on that. Check out our channel for my law on trigger laws for what happens when Schedule 3 occurs and see if your state qualifies. That also does not change anything when it comes to the issues of banking or putting marijuana or hemp into the nation's food supply. Because you see, cannabis businesses, they still can't use banks freely, and banks will probably start warming up more with Schedule 3. Taxes will be amazing. It'll just be like they're regulated like any other business or the hemp industry. And maybe the hemp banking, which has easier access to banking, will catch up with licensed Schedule 3 businesses, which is nice. And then that's still not getting us to full legality. For that, we need to talk about the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act. I have also done videos on that. Check out the video that I did about why intoxicating hemp derivatives are not as legal as you think. So what's next? We got Trump and Harris both on the record saying marijuana legalization is coming, if done correctly, according to Donald Trump, which I'm assuming, reading the tea leaves, means Schedule 3. Now, do we really trust him? Donald Trump had 4 years to make progress on this. And he gave us Jeff Sessions as an attorney general who said, good people do not use marijuana. And then we did have Kamala Harris around the same time, not supporting legalizing it in California and prosecuting as the state's attorney general before she changed her tune in 2019 when Joe Biden ran. And he has done more by his executive action to reschedule than anybody else. But is rescheduling a done deal? It could be. It appears that both parties are on board. And if Florida legalizes in November, it's probably definitely a done deal. Way more so than like if one of the Dakotas does it, because there's 20 plus million Americans in Florida, and it's just starting to get ridiculous. Everybody lives in a state where it's legal, except for you, sucker. But that's not the case with Schedule 3. Then everybody would live in a state where the federal law respects medical marijuana. Some of those states would be triggered to match federal laws. Some of those states would need action from grassroots supporters to get in compliance with that federal law. And then if there's a way for the marijuana producers to get in compliance with FDA regulations, we could see interstate commerce, by 2027 or so. Don't forget, If you enjoyed this content, like, subscribe, tune in for more of it. We do our podcast live on Sunday.